So today we will learn how we can create a sidebar in React.js. So here first I have created a modern sidebar folder. In this folder I will create index.js file, and in this JavaScript file I will create a React component using the traditional functional methods. I will name it modern sidebar, and for now just name it sidebar, right? So I will now import this React component into app.js file so it will be visible in our app. We will create modern sidebar from modern sidebar folder, and I will create this React component inside return of this app component. So sidebar is now visible in our app. So for now I will close this app.js file because we will not do anything in that file. So I would also need a CSS file. So I will create index.css file inside this. So I will import this index.css inside our JS file, index.css. Okay. So typically with the sidebar, there is also some other component on the right hand side, like for example, dashboard. So we will also create for now a very simple dashboard. For now, we will simply name it a dashboard. We will wrap this sidebar and dashboard inside a div. So we have sidebar and dashboard, right? I will name this topmost HTML element a main. So we will wrap all our sidebar and dashboard in the main HTML tag. So after that, I will create this sidebar, move this sidebar logic inside another React function. I will name it sidebar component, and I will just cut and paste this code inside the return statement of this sidebar component, and I will paste this sidebar component here, right? So first, the sidebar and dashboard are on the top of sidebar is on the top of dashboard. So I want sidebar on the left and dashboard on the right. So in the index.js file, I will style our main HTML tags, and I will give it a display of flex. So by default, display of flex will align the items in row, right? So for now, we will also make another class of sidebar so that we will also style the sidebar. I will add this class name sidebar in our sidebar component, right? So in the sidebar, I will give it a display of flex, and I will give it a height of 100 vh. First of all, let's give it a background color of something blue, right? And I'll just change this color to a little bit darker. Actually, I have selected a pre-configured color for this 8 15 15. Okay, so I will give it a height of 100 vh. So our component, sidebar component, is of full height of 100 vh. Now I will also give it a width of 15 rem, right? So now for now I don't need this left sidebar of VS Code, so I will just hide it and move it a little bit here so we can see what's going on here. So text is not visible right now. I will give the text color of white for now. Okay. So our sidebar is actually quite ready. Now inside sidebar we have like button for home, button for something like products if we have an e-commerce site. So in this example I will just try to create e-commerce site, the sidebar of e-commerce site. So for now, for that I will create a button. I will remove this sidebar. This was written just for the demonstration. I will remove this and we will create a button inside it. So in this button I will first write a home, right? So currently button is taking the whole 100 vh height, so we will also style all the buttons inside sidebar. For that I will write sidebar then space button, so that all the buttons inside sidebar class are styled. So for sidebar button, first I will give it a background of again 8 15 and 36. Okay, so I will give it a color of white. So in the sidebar I do not need this white color because in the button this sidebar color property will not make impact to the button, so I have to explicitly give the color white to the buttons. Okay, right? So after that I will give it a display of flex, right? So in the sidebar I will give it I will give the flex direction column. Okay, so now our sidebar buttons is in column. So also you can see there is a border around the button, so we will remove that border, right? We will give it a border of none. There's no border, right? So now we will also use font awesome icons to uh, place the icons in front of our buttons inside the sidebar. So for that, I have already installed the font awesome icons, so you can follow their documentation and install it in your React file, right? So for font awesome, I will first import inside our index.js file. First we will hide this. Import font awesome icon from font awesome React font awesome, right? So after that, I will create import a home icon. For that, name is FA house. So we will use that here just above the home. First we will use font awesome icon, and with that we will give icon FA house. We will provide the icon attribute the FA house, right? So here we have this home icon just in front of the home button, right? Now we will also give it a style of white. You can style it or you cannot style it, it's up to you. So uh, we will inline style this icon, right? Give it an inline style to the font awesome icon. So now there are just too much, there's no space between this icon and this home text. So for that we will first we will give it a display flex. We have already given a display flex, and now I will give it a column gap of 0.4 rem. So we have a gap now, and I will give it a width of 100%, right? Now I will also give it a padding of I will give it a shortcut. I will use shortcut padding convention. This is the first convention is the first in the shortcut, the first unit you will give in the padding will be up and down, and after that I will give 1 rm, that is left and right. So we have 0.5 up and down and 1 rm from left and right. So you can see there is more space on the left and right. So now we will give it a text align of left, so our text is on the left hand side, right? Okay, so it's almost ready. Our home icon is, our home text is just too much white. I will give it a little bit more grayish tone, so it's very easy on the eyes. The text is now very easy on the eyes. So now the next thing we will do is I will give it, this is where I will give it a font weight of bold. So this text is now in the bold, right? So our button style is almost ready, right? So now the next thing we will do is I am trying to create a e-commerce site. So first we will create a electronics button. So inside this we will write some subcategories of electronics. When I click on electronics, it will expand, and if I click again, it will collapse. So for that, just create another component, electronics. Oh, function. This was a little typo there. In electronics, we will just create a simple div, and we'll give it the name of electronics, right? I will put this inside this our sidebar component, below our home button, right? Electronics. Okay, so I will put this electronics inside button because I want to make it clickable, right? So button, right? I will put this electronics inside this button. So for electronics, I will use the icon of for make our work quick. I will just paste this whole code and will copy and paste it here. Here I will just use another icon, FA keyboard, and I will use this icon here. So this says electronics as a keyboard icon, right? So now after that, just create some I want to create some subcategories inside electronics. All right, so I will create a div, and I will just give it a name of subcategories, class name, subcategory. Right. So inside that subcategory, I will again create button. I will add some subcategories like laptops and like phones. After that, there can be tablets. After that, there can be smartwatches. After that, we can also add game consoles. So these are all subcategories, right? So after that, I want to align these subcategories a little bit on the left so that user can know that these are inside this electronics. So we will make it a class of subcategory. We will give it a padding left of 1 rem. So now our subcategories are a little bit on the left, right? So after that, I want that on the click of electronics, these will just collapse, and again click, these will expand. So for that, we will use a visibility flag. So for that, we will use React's use state hook. I will give it a name of visible and give the function name set visible. Now we'll use state. It by default it will be collapsed, so that's why I have given it a false, right? So on click of this electronics button, I want to expand and then collapse. So in the on click event of button, I will set it just the opposite of visible. If it is false, it will set it to not visible, that is true. If it is true, it will set it to not true, that's false. So it will just switch to false and true when we click on this, right? So on the click, I will want to hide all this div of subcategory, div HTML element of subcategory. So for that, we will just add another class here of visible and non-visible. For that, I will use the ternary operator. I will put this inside curly braces and just change it to backticks so that I can use classes by some condition that if it's visible, then I want to add a visible class name with subcategory class, and if it's not visible, then I do not want any class name. So in CSS, I will add subcategory dot visible, and I will give it a display of block. By default, I will give it a subcategory display of none. So you can see it's hidden. When I click on this, it's become visible. So I have made a expandable and collapsible category button. Okay, so I want to, it's just quick, I want to just show it a little bit later, like half a second later. And so for that, I will use a transition class name. First, I will want the opacity of 0, right? So I will now add the transition CSS property. So I want to change the opacity after 5 seconds, right? And I want to change the opacity to full 1 when the transition completes, right? I also want to transform it a little bit. For that, for transform effect in the subcategories visible class name, I will use transform and I will translate y, right? Now in the transition property, I will also want to change transform the subcategory, and I want it to ease in out, right? Refresh it. Now it's working, right? So I think there is a little bit problem here. Our transition effect is let's try it to 5 seconds to test if it's really working. um, it's currently not working. Wait a minute. Let's try to change the visibility to visible. uh, Everything is correct now. Subcategory dot visible. Transform effect is not applied properly. We will look into that later. For now, let's make some more changes. The button, on the hover of button, I also want it to have a background color of little bit different, so we can know that something is pointing over these buttons, right? So now if I hover these buttons, their color are changing. I also want to change the arrow type. For that, we will write cursor pointer, right? Now the cursor is changing, right? So currently in this subcategories buttons, there are no icons. We will also add some icons in this. So for that, we'll just copy this font item icon and post it just above these button texts. Now I will import some more font or some icons. For laptop, I will import FA laptop. For tablet, I will import FA tablet. Right. For game consoles, I will import FA gamepad. Right. So I think for smartwatches, I will import FA clock. Right. We will now use this here, FA laptop, FA for mobile, it is mobile screen, I think. You can also just start writing here and it will automatically give the suggestion to you, FA mobile screen. Right. For tablets, FA tablet. For smartwatches, we will write FA clock, and for game consoles, we will write FA game pad. So our subcategories are almost completed, right? So we have electronics subcategory. Let's now create another category. We will give that a name of some menswear. We can use the same code of these categories, right? For now, we will remove this extra buttons. I will change it to menswear, right? And give it a name. I will give the name of component menswear and paste it here. Right. So we have a menswear, right? So for menswear, I will use their FA person icon. I will give it here FA person, right? So we have menswear. We have a very nice looking menswear, and after that I will just give it a subcategory name of what I can give it, shorts, right? Just add some more subcategories like socks, we will also add icons for these subcategories. For shorts, I will import a short, and for socks, I will import FA socks, right? Now I will again add FA shorts and FA socks. Okay, our sidebar is almost completed. So I will also style the dashboard now. I will give it a name of class name of dashboard. Dashboard is looking very empty, so I will also add the dashboard class name, right? So for dashboard, I will give it a display for now. I will get a display of flex, display of flex. Just we will center this dashboard, just where content center, and align items center, right? We will give it a height of 100 VH and width of 100%, right? And we'll give it a background color of black, right? And a color of white. We'll give it a little bit grayish tone, so it's not too much white, right? So you can see our sidebar is almost completed. It has expandable, collapsible buttons, and when we hover, its background color is changing. And after that, the only thing now pending is our transition effect is not working properly. So for that, what we can do, let me check it again. Let's try to give it a transform of 1 rem. It's not working. Our visible class, one more thing I want to add is this. I want to add an arrow just after this electronics text and menswear text, so that when this is collapsed, it's up, facing up. It's if it is expanded, then it is facing downwards, right? So after this electronic, add a arrow up icon. I will first import fa arrow up and fa arrow down, right? So I will use fa arrow up here, right? So now if this is facing downwards, I will use fa arrow down. Our CSS is a little bit messed up, so for that what I can do is button, I think I have to change the button class name. So what could be the problem here? Hmm. So electronics, I'm adding this icon, then this text, and if I added this, the CSS is getting messed up, right? If I again do this, okay, now it's right. There were some issues. It's solved now. Click on this. It is facing upward. As you can see, it is expanded to collapse. Now it's facing downward, so you can actually expand this. That's why the arrow down sign. I will use this same logic below menswear. If this is visible, we will use FA arrow up icon. If it's not visible, we will use FA down icon. You can see it's working now. So again, only thing left is our visible is not working properly. I don't know why. Opacity 1 transform Y. I will just okay. I will do it. I will restart this server. Let's see if this is working. Let's first just test the transform effect. I think I'm doing everything right, but I don't know why it's not working properly. Let me check again. Okay, so again opacity, we will not use opacity. Let's try to give it a 5 second and test and just remove the ease in out for now. Okay, so transform effect is not working properly. For what I can judge is display block. Transform translate Y, right? Opacity is working, but transform effect is not working. What could be the problem? I will try to give it a okay. Let's also give it a visibility of visible. Let's remove this display block. Okay, now it's working. That's very weird, right? Now it's working. I will give it a opacity of 0.5. I will remove this one rem. Opacity of 0.5. I'm going to change it after 5 seconds, and transition should be ease in out. And I will uncomment this, right? Okay. Now I will get a display of none. And I will give it a display of block, right? Again, same issue. Visibility hidden. Let's okay, it's working, but it's not collapsing properly. Um, if I remove this visible, will this work? It's working for only visibility. Display none, and I want to display what could be the reason there can be block. For now, just remove this transition effect because it's not working very properly, right? So we'll remove this, and we will simply just when it's not visible, it's display none. When it's visible, it will display block, right? So our sidebar is almost completed. We have font awesome icons. We have these categories: electronics, menswear. It has now subcategories like laptops, phones, tablets, smartwatches. There is a typo in in tablets, I will just correct that, right? So tablets, smartwatches, game consoles, in menswear, it's shirts, socks. We can individually expand and collapse. We have a dashboard, right? This is the sidebar. And thank you for watching.